my beautiful friends. So today I'm doing something a little bit different for me. I feel like this is a video that everyone on BookTube has done on their channel at least once before, except for me. I'm a little bit late to the party, but today I'm going to be reading 1-star reviews of my favorite books and 1-star reviews of some books by my favorite authors in general. So I feel like this is going to be so fun because I have some hot takes. And I think we all know that. If you're new here, hi, I have really hot takes. So a lot of really well-known, loved books I hate, and then a lot of books that other people hate I end up loving. So I'm a little bit backwards. So I think this is going to be a very fun video. I'm filming this off the cuff. I actually have no idea what books I'm going to pick for this video. I'm just going to pick some books that I love and then look up 1-star reviews on Goodreads. So let's go ahead and get started. I feel like we should start with the obvious. American Psycho by Bret Easton Ellis. Bret Easton Ellis is my favorite author. I can confidently say I think American Psycho is my favorite book, just because it's like, I don't know, it has a special place in my heart. One of the earlier books that I've read that I was absolutely obsessed with, and now I think about it all the time. Like, it's a classic, it's iconic, and I'm obsessed with it. And I feel like a lot of people hate this book. So let's check out some 1-star reviews. It's nothing short of a miracle that I finished this dumpster fire of a book. I get what he was trying to do, and he failed miserably. By far the worst book I've ever read in my entire life. Thanks for the trauma and the endless outfit descriptions, Bret. I mean, fair. Endless outfit descriptions, yes. I found it to be hilarious. I can see why someone would find it insufferable, but really, was this really the worst book you've ever read in your entire life? I hate this book. It's one of my least favorite books I've ever read. I'm sorry. It makes perfect sense that Bret Ellis and Donna Tartt are close friends because, good lord, he does not shut the fuck up ever. If Ellis needed to shut the fuck up to save the world, we'd all be dead. I never want to read the name of a luxury brand again. This book could have been 200 pages shorter if we didn't get an in-depth Bateman beauty routine. I know the whole point of the novel is Bateman's absurdity, but by page 130 I wanted to shed my own skin and rip my eyes out. I couldn't find it in myself to care. He's a pretentious, self-centered, and bigoted cunt. His life isn't even interesting without the gruesome murders he commits, and even those are boring. Bateman's reasons for killing, raping, and beating people are so lackluster that it's not even interesting. He's just an insufferable prick because he can be one. Not only is he insufferable, but his friends are too. There's not a single thing in this novel that makes it bearable. This book has nothing of substance besides drugs and alcohol. Haha. Good one. A rich man with sex and drug addiction? How original. I read this while sitting in a hospital waiting room, and the entire time I was wishing I had brought something else. I've never been more grateful for the fact that I never have to read something ever again. Okay, when they said that they read this in a hospital waiting room, I swear I thought they were gonna say that they would have rather died in the hospital, so that way they didn't have to continue reading this book, but I guess that was a missed opportunity there. The thing is, like, I totally understand why someone would hate this book. I get it. I do. I understand why people hate American Psycho. So, like, I can't even say anything because it's something like, the reason that people hate it, like, that's the point of the book, but also, like, I can see why it would be annoying for you to read. I don't know. I loved it. Rating, 1 star. This is a really messed up book. I guess you could say he's a pretty sick guy. Okay, what should we do next? This is so much fun. Let's do Rejection by Toni Tulathamuti. This book, you guys know, is like my favorite book that I've read so far this year. It's full satire about like just chronically online like internet culture and how sensitive everyone is. And I feel like a lot of people were put off by this book because they think it's like pretentious and offensive, so I feel like the reviews might be good for this one. Tulathamuti could be a great scribe of the modern era if he wasn't busy jacking off in the mirror. What is that even supposed to mean? I think a lot of people say that this book is pretentious, and like I can see, obviously, like I can see why they would think it's pretentious, because like, okay, maybe a little bit. I'm into pretentious things. I'm into pretentious people. So like, I don't mind it. But to me, I just thought the book was really smart and intelligent, and like, you can tell that Tony is intelligent. But I think some people are put off by that, maybe. I don't know. I wouldn't say he's jacking off in the mirror. This author is a depraved nut that apparently gets off on torturing his readers. I promptly quit after reading a 7+ page detailed sex fantasy, including, but not limited to, capes, a magic extendable penis, and multiple prolapsed assholes. Okay. Can we just talk about how this person wrote out the word penis and the word asshole, but censored the word prolapsed? Bon voyage, modern world. I'm off to hole up in an Amish community. Okay, I will say the scene that this person's talking about with like the fantasy in the email was the most annoying part of the book, but like, once you get past that, it's smooth sailing from there, okay? And it's definitely a book where like you have to read the whole thing because it all makes sense in the end and what he was trying to do. You can't just be like, oh, I read a sex scene and now I'm offended. I have lost all respect for the person who recommended this to me. Probably my YouTube channel. Okay, so I'm trying to look up like different types of books, like different genres, just different books in general. I think I'm gonna go with White Nights by Fyodor Dostoevsky. One of my favorite books that I've read this year, probably one of my favorite books of all time. Dostoevsky's really out here representing all the lonely virgin men that has a Yacht Master diploma. It's so true though, it's so true. Like, here's the thing, I love this book so much because it's sad. Like, it's deeply sad and relatable and like has that yearning component to it, but at the same time, like the main character, like I for real would be calling the police on him. Like, he's kind of an incel. I must admit, the fucking main character of White Nights is a little bit of an incel. It took me over a month to read this unbearable book. It is literally just the Rihanna tweet, get a job, stay away from her. I fully blame Jack Edwards for, oh no, Jack Edwards the YouTuber. I'm probably in one of these reviews. It is so boring and irritating on every level. There is nothing beautiful about it. The writing is annoying, boring, and drags. The main character is a nice guy, trademarked, and the girl is a child in love with some other man she doesn't know, and they talk about it on a bench a few times. That's it. Leave this shit in the 1800s where it belongs. Jesus fucking Christ. I cannot believe I spent $4 on... I marked the whole thing up with insults to the main character, and that brought up modicum of enjoyment, but sure as hell not enough. Save yourself. This book is shit. Okay, here's the thing. Like, if you're a yearner, if you're like a hopeless romantic yearner, I feel like this book would hit for you, right? Or at least most people. But at the same time, I do understand why people don't like the main character of this book, and that's why they find this book insufferable. Because even me, like, I gave this book 5 stars. I absolutely love it. But even me reading it, I was like, this guy is like he needs to be like hospitalized or something. So like, I get it. I get it. He does need to get a job and stay away from her. Honestly, I admit it. The original incel. Yeah. Let's do Melissa Broder next. I'm obsessed with Melissa Broder. You guys know she's one of my favorite authors, literally my favorite person to follow online. She's been doing this thing where she like reads Emily Dickinson out loud in public on Instagram at like various stores and places, and like she just read it in the Taco Bell drive-thru the other day to the guy. It was great. Like, she is comedy gold. Like, Melissa Broder is my favorite comedian. So I'm gonna look up The Pisces. Another book about yearning and romantic obsession. She writes just like mental health problems and romantic problems so well. But this one had some like animal cruelty stuff going on. I feel like that's probably a lot of the 1-star reviews, but I'm gonna try to find some good ones. Let's see. My only wish is that I purchased a hard copy of this novel so that I would have the satisfaction of setting it on fire. Okay, so I was right. Like, a lot of the 1-star reviews are because people are upset about the animal cruelty, and I get it, I understand. But the thing is, like, the animal cruelty is trying to show that your fantasies that you get stuck into, like your fake little situations in your head, can have real life consequences. And like, here's a 1-star review. I'm kind of confused as to why it's 1 star, because she says, this book was so very depressing, dark, and twisted. I wanted to find a fun fantasy read, and this was absolutely not it. It was interesting in how it so rawly depicts addiction in the form of romantic, sexual, and relationship obsession, and how completely destructive and debilitating it is. Seeking one's entire worth through any external entity, romantic lust or love or whatever, being a super common one, will never result in true sustainable fulfillment. It is awful to see the characters suffer on in their specific patterns, all stuck in their misery, delusions, and loneliness. The book is absolutely not a fairy tale where all is solved harmoniously in the end, which certainly is real life in many cases. However, I definitely want to read something more uplifting and positive next. Okay, this is exactly why I gave this book 5 stars. So like, I completely agree with this book from a 5-star perspective. So, listen, I love dark, bleak, depressing books here. So I will give all of them like 4 or 5 stars pretty much. So yeah, I guess this is just one that goes to show, there are apparently people in the world that want to read happy, positive, uplifting books. But like, she still got the message from this book. I still don't understand how that justifies a 1-star rating. I mean, whatever, do you? I think I'm gonna do Dead Inside by Chandler Morrison. I'm obsessed with Chandler Morrison, okay? And I just feel like the reviews for Dead Inside have to be hilarious because it's full satire and it's so misunderstood, and like, so many people read this book and just go off. Like, just so many people read this book and take it literally. And it's not supposed to be taken that way, I can tell you that. Okay, first one that I'm seeing, we get it. You fuck dead girls. Holy shit, so bad. Reads like an edgy 15-year-old boy's wanking material he hides under his bed. Corny, ridiculous, basically torture porn. Yeah, sorry, I can't take this book seriously when, spoilers, one of the character's childhood ferret smothers her baby brother and eats his face off, leading her to have a fetish for cannibalizing babies. Fuck off. I can only imagine the author wrote this with one hand on his keyboard and the other down his pants. This author needs jail time. Okay, can I just point out that this book is supposed to be like a satirical take on extreme horror? Can I just throw that out there? Okay, so this one has like a bunch of spoilers and things that like if I say out loud, I will literally get demonetized. And like things about the author, but there are parts of it that I need to read that I have to. I'm disgusted. Chandler Morrison is a sick individual. For starters, this book was horribly written. The guy is quirky, not a regular guy, very different, doesn't fit in. You're reminded of this every 3 seconds. He sleeps with dead corpses, meets the doctor who eats dead babies. She's different but wants to be normal. He says normal is dumb. Don't be normal, be different like me. And they go on to say, horrible plot and even a sicker author. Someone should do an investigation on him. Did he write this book about himself? This borderline traumatized me and made me never want to buy another book like this without learning about the author first. This is beyond shock value. horrorcore, etc. It's a guy trying to be quirky and different, who should never be an author in the first place, who needs to be investigated because I'm not entirely sure the book isn't memoirs from his own experiences. Couldn't even finish this piece of shit book. And then this person goes on to say, try Womb by Duncan Ralston instead. A majority of the time people forget that works of fiction are works of fiction. They're not the author's diary entries. Every once in a while, is there a weirdo author who's writing sick shit out of his sick mind? Yes, absolutely. A large majority of the time though, just because someone is writing something disgusting as like satire doesn't necessarily mean that they need to be investigated and jailed, okay? Okay, I know one that I have some hot takes about that people might get offended by this one. I'm going to look up Of Mice and Men by John Steinbeck because I think this is another example of a book that a lot of people take the wrong way. And the way that I read it was like completely different than other people's opinions on this book. Okay, this is probably gonna get me some hate comments. Here we go. Without going into detail, I think that this is not only a pointlessly sad story, but also a problematic one. It is derogatory towards the disabled, women in general, and people of color. And while some might argue that it's trying to offer commentary on those issues, it is far too short to do so effectively. It blows my mind that it's still being taught in schools, especially because of the wildly outdated understanding of developmental disabilities. Definitely proves to me that schools are not diligently vetting their canon curriculum and/or teachers are too lazy to find better books. List a theme in Of Mice and Men that can't be found in a less offensive novel. No, I'll wait. Okay, here's the thing. People are constantly hating this book because they find it offensive and derogatory and racist, ableist, this and that. And it's like, yeah, there are more modern books with these themes that we can find and choose to analyze that have better representation, etc. But the thing is, John Steinbeck was born in 1902. Of Mice and Men came out in 1937. And it was a very accurate portrayal of what life was like in 1937, how people were treated in 1937, how marginalized groups of people are treated, etc. How white people acted in 1937, you know? And the problem is, if we're going to say, oh, we shouldn't be reading old literature, we should be reading modern literature with themes that cater towards sensitive readers, you are eliminating so much history. Like, to me, reading a book from 1937 is a piece of history, right? It's a piece of our past. And we learn from the past, we evolve from the past, and just being like, oh, I can't read any old books because I'm sensitive and we should be more sensitive towards others. It's like you're trying to rewrite the past. Like, we should just, like turn a blind eye toward everything that happened up until recently. We just shouldn't pay attention to, you know, the racism that occurred in 1937, and, you know, we shouldn't pay attention to the fact that this is how disabled people were looked at in 1937. And like, without that knowledge, like, how are we supposed to like grow as a society if we don't have any knowledge on history whatsoever? Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. Like, all these people try to like cancel these old books and these like old dead white authors, and it's like, what exactly are you trying to do? Like, are you saying that we should just rewrite history? Like, we should just pretend like it's 1984 by George Orwell? We should all go to the Ministry of Truth and rewrite history so that way we only know what has happened in the last like 10 years? Like, I'm sorry. This book was very accurate as to what it was like in 1937. And like, I'm sorry. Racism existed. Ableism existed. Those things still exist today. And I think he did a really great job representing how those people were treated at the time. Like, I don't know. I don't know. Listen, hate me all you want. That's my hot take about Of Mice and Men. Sad shit. Do not read. Avoid. See, if I saw this review, I'd go read it and give it 5 stars. I love sad shit on this channel. This was one of the worst books that I've ever read. First, the book is called Mice and Men, but it has nothing to do with mice. Mice are not mentioned at all in the whole entirety of the book. Second, all the characters are insufferable. I hated all of them. Third, this book just made no sense. Nothing happened. The story was all over the place. The characters were just talking throughout the whole thing. There was no plot and no point was made at the end. This book was just a giant waste of time. Okay, at first I thought that this was satire. I was like, no mice in the book, haha, funny review. And then I was like, oh wait, this person's actually really angry and thinks that this book has no purpose to it at all. And then I'm like looking through the comments and someone was like, ha, LMAO, like good one, mice, haha, it's probably a metaphor for something. And she goes, at least the metaphor should have been explained throughout the book, because then what's the point? There are so many metaphors and explanations throughout this entire book. That's why it's a classic and it's studied in schools as part of curriculum to teach readers critical thinking skills and analysis. Whew. Wow. I feel like I'm gonna go pass out. I'll be right back. Okay, one more. Let's do The Sluts by Dennis Cooper, because I've talked about this book so often on my channel. I just feel like I have to do it at this point. The first one just says, fuck no baby. If you don't know, The Sluts is transgressive fiction about an escort, and we're literally just reading like reviews about this escort online, and we don't know like what's true, what's not true. It's just like the internet doing the internet's thing. Like we have no idea what is fact or fiction, and I think that's what was terrifying about it, but it does have a lot of graphic violence, so ruined my day. It kind of ruined my day too, I'm not gonna lie to you. That's why I loved it. Oh dear God. I feel like I sinned reading that book in its entirety. I don't even know where I heard of it. I swear if I find the damn book talker that suggested it, I'm going to report them. Jesus Christ. I rated the book on the vile content, but there were things that I did like. The book is brilliant in that it messes with your thoughts and emotions throughout. It is cleverly written. I especially liked how it was written in review form. It felt like I was sucked into a Facebook debate and I was up late reading all 1,000 comments and replies. The story follows a young gay male escort named Brad. Brad is clearly too young but passes himself off as a legal adult. Everyone becomes obsessed with Brad, and what follows are lies, myths, truths, and all kinds of illegal activities. There were too many effed up fantasies, don't recommend. Now excuse me while I go take a scalding shower and bleach. See, like, reviews like this are frustrating because she basically gave it a good review and like made me want to read the book, right? But then is like, I'm gonna report the person that recommended it though. Okay, but so frustrating. This is why I don't want to be on the internet anymore. Okay, it's just so frustrating when people think that way, because I'd rather people just be like, hey, this book wasn't for me. I can see what the author was trying to do. I liked this aspect of the book, but like, I didn't like it. I'm not into it. I'd be like, you know what? That's great. That's fine. I love that. I love that you were honest about that. But when you're like, I'm gonna go report someone, it's like, okay, calm down there. Calm down. Maybe you need to get off the internet forums. Oh, okay, I'm gonna go. I'm like sweating now. Let me know if you want a part 2 to this video, or if you want me to just do like classics or just one genre of book. Let me know, and I will do that. Or I can read 5-star reviews of my least favorite books to switch things up. I don't know, let me know. I love you guys and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.